In the heart of Delta City, there lived a humble couple from the same village. They had a 7-year-old son named Joshua. The family lived peacefully in a modest 2-bedroom apartment. The couple occupied one room while Joshua slept in the other. The wife, Susan, was a hardworking chef who catered for both big and small events. Her husband, Harry, was a devoted regional pastor. He took his spiritual life seriously and instilled the same values in his family. It was their tradition never to go to bed or start a new day without prayer and devotion. One evening, after their night devotion, just as they were about to retire to bed, they heard a knock on the door. It was around 10 p.m. Who could be knocking this late, they wondered. Harry summoned the courage to approach the door and asked, "Who is it?" "It's Nkiru, your wife Susan's neighbor from the village," came a voice from outside. Susan, hearing the name, quickly asked, "Is it Tochi's sister?" "Yes," Nkiru responded. Immediately, Harry opened the door. "Why are you here so late? And how did you get our house address?" he asked. Nkiru explained, "I came to Asaba for a job offer. But when I arrived, the person who invited me couldn't be reached despite several attempts. Before I left the village, I mentioned to Mama that I was coming here, and she gave me your address in case I needed help." The couple, being warm-hearted, welcomed her. They offered her food and drink, then showed her to Joshua's room so she could freshen up. Since it was a 2-bedroom apartment, Joshua had to share his room. That first night, while the couple slept, Harry heard faint whispers in Joshua's room. He got up to check, but when he opened the door, the whisper stopped. Nkiru was lying on the bed, pretending to be asleep, and Joshua was peacefully asleep beside her. Harry shook his head and left, thinking it was just his imagination, but Nkiru opened one eye and smirked once he left. The next morning, during devotion, Nkiru was absent. They excused her since she was a guest. However, Joshua woke up feeling weak. "Mom, I don't know what's wrong. I'm feeling weak," he complained. Worried, Susan rushed to make him breakfast, thinking it could be hunger. By noon, he was back to his normal self. They thanked God and carried on with their day. Nkiru remained in the house, claiming that the person who was supposed to take her to the company still couldn't be reached. She said she had nowhere else to go. Susan, although uncomfortable, allowed her to stay until the situation was resolved. But Harry was not entirely pleased. A few days later, Susan found Joshua drawing strange symbols with crayons, odd shapes and dark figures surrounding a little boy. "What's this, baby?" she asked, trying to hide her concern. "I don't know, Mom. They came in my dream last night," he replied innocently. Susan showed the drawings to Harry. He frowned. "These symbols, they are not ordinary." That night, during their night devotion, Nkiru again did not join. Harry expressed his concern, but Susan calmed him, saying, "She's our guest. She won't stay long." The same strange pattern continued. Every morning, Joshua woke up weak, and by noon, he was well again. Susan began to grow suspicious. One night, she decided Joshua should sleep in their room. To her surprise, he woke up without any weakness. That confirmed her fears. Susan woke up and immediately picked up her phone to call her mom. "Mom, why did you give Nkiru our house address without my permission? She's been here for days and I'm not comfortable. I don't know how to send her away." Her mother responded, "There is blessing in helping people. If she says she's stranded, let her stay until she finds her feet." Susan ended the call in disappointment, unable to express how she truly felt. Back in the village, before Nkiru traveled, she had a conversation with Susan's mother. "You know what's required of you, Nkiru," the old woman said sternly. "My time is almost up. I've eaten from other people's tables. It's time I bring my own." "But, she's your daughter," Nkiru whispered. "A price must be paid. She'll understand, eventually." Meanwhile, Nkiru was growing restless and upset that Joshua no longer slept alone. Her time was running out. One night, while the couple was asleep, Nkiru quietly entered their room and carried Joshua back to her room to complete her sinister assignment. What the couple didn't know was that both Nkiru and Susan's mother were members of a coven. Nkiru had inherited the membership from her late mother, and now, it was Susan's mother's turn to offer a sacrifice. She had sent Nkiru to her daughter's house under the guise of a job offer. That night was the chosen night for the sacrifice. Nkiru laid Joshua on the bed and summoned her coven members. As they surrounded him, Harry had a terrifying dream. He saw his son being slaughtered. He woke up sweating and afraid, only to find Joshua missing. He quickly tapped Susan. Joshua is not on the bed. They searched the restroom, kitchen, living room, and finally, Nkiru's room. What they saw filled them with horror. The walls seemed to pulse like a heartbeat, and the shadows of the coven began hissing like snakes. The room grew cold, and a loud voice echoed, "Leave now, or face the consequence." "Jesus," they both shouted. Harry rushed to get his Bible. The pages flipped wildly until it landed on Psalm 91. He shouted the verses aloud as Susan wept and clutched her son. A blinding light burst from the Bible, and one by one, the figures vanished into thin air, screeching. They quickly gathered Joshua, who lay unconscious, and continued praying over him until he regained consciousness. They stayed up all night, praising and thanking God. The next morning, Susan received a call. Her mother had died. She wasn't surprised. Deep down, she knew the spiritual battle they had fought the night before. They praised God for saving their son and made a vow never to repeat the same mistake again. Their good hearts had almost cost them their only child, but their faith had saved him.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.